Thank you so much for being here to talk to us a little bit about this, the course that you're offering starting December on NVC and Habits. And I thought it'd be really cool to get a little bit of kind of a hands-on sense of what this course would be about and a little about you. And I'm so grateful for you making time. I know it's a little late where you are.
Thank you. No, it's a joy to be here. And anything I can do to introduce myself and to create some comfort and trust, I love to do.
Would you then like to say a little bit about yourself and your NVC path, so that gives us a sense of who you are?
Sure. Well, first, it is later here. I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico in the United States. And that is, if anyone knows time zones, it is mountain time in the US. It's not too terribly late, but a little bit later. I'm excited about this prospect of connecting across the ocean and being with other people who are excited about NVC. So that's one piece. I'm a trainer through the Center for Nonviolent Communication, and I have a couple of different degrees in Eastern religions and in Western culture as well. My path has been exploration of the soul in a pretty major way. And how I came to nonviolent communication is actually through my own life path and hitting a place of what some people might call a bottom, a very low place in my life. And I was introduced to nonviolent communication at that point. And I attribute the process to actually giving me life and leading me to humility so that I could accept support in other ways. So this is how I was introduced.
Thank you for sharing that. I can resonate a little bit with the hitting a low point and then coming to nonviolent communication. What I find quite interesting in what you say is like, so much of NVC is about bringing life back to the spaces that are somehow like have been drained of life through whatever we've been through or whatever's happening. It's really moving to hear that that's a common thing that we have there. And I know that a lot of this background, the soul kind of goes into, from what we've spoken about, I know that a lot of that went into NVC and Habits and what you're putting into that program. And I just wanted to check, would you like to speak a little bit to what the purpose of that program is?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. You know, right away when we hear habits, in my experience, two things come up. One, bad and habits together in my brain and the experience I've had in the world. And then the other thing is, well, how do we change them? This is about neither of those things. And this is about noticing what is habitual and being choiceful around those habits. So you may in fact leave with the same habits. And I want to provide people the insight and reflection tools that then become integrated to a process enough that they have choice about the habits that they have. So the aim is not to change habits, it's to have a deep connection with self and from there make your choices. And for me, my choices now are about what's going to make life more wonderful, what is going to be life-serving. And with that, I've found a great deal of balance and a great deal of peace in my life. So I want to offer that to people in what I hope is the first of its kind program that will bring sustainable, choiceful change.
Who could benefit from this? Who might be, who might have something to gain from coming to this program?
I would say anyone, but space is limited.
Yes.
You know, habits begin in the mind, and so part of this is the habit of thought, and then if you look out in the world, it could be a habit of how you eat, the habit of if you're using something more than you prefer, whether it's alcohol or drugs, if it's social media, any avenue within social media, whether it's shopping, could be watching things that when you walk away, you don't actually know why you watched that second horror movie or whatever it was. Things that, anything that you're doing unconsciously after a certain point. So it might be that you began something consciously and then a neurological pathway takes over. Some unconscious habitual behavior takes over. So I really do mean that anyone could benefit from it. And I would say if something is not working in your life and you want to have more choice around it, then this is a great place to start.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm hearing in that is also that it's not just about, and I see now we have a guest who might be part of the program as well, knowing you.
Yes. You know, these are the days of working from home and COVID, and so this is one of the rulers of the house. This is my cat Gideon.
We live with our cats. That's true. What I want to check is, I mean, what I'm hearing is it's not just about behavioral habits, but also about thought processes or a defense mechanism that I may have consciously or subconsciously chosen. And if I'm aware of it now, this program could be of value to kind of check, when am I using this sort of defense mechanism? Like if I choose to show up aggressive or angry, or I choose to shut down at some point, that in itself could be a habit that disconnects me from my own needs and from the other person. And of course, there's the behavioral aspects like social media, I heard, and alcohol and drugs. And I would guess smoking would be a heavy part of that. That was my original habit, difficult to quit. And I really do wish I had access to this program at that point. What I've understood is that it's also quite a deep, comprehensive dive. I mean, the structure of the program, as I came across it, was quite rich. And would you like to speak a little bit to that? What is being offered, really?
I designed it as first a course of 10 weeks with a group, and then 2 weeks of group support, but not necessarily in a 2-hour session. So some other platform where we're sharing our stories or reaching out for help. I offer different tiers of commitment and payment, and also support level, but I recommend that the people coming get coaching support. So whether it's from me or one of my colleagues or their own therapist, it could even be a spiritual leader or just someone who can hold space for them as they're processing what might come up. So I am not a therapist. I'm a CNVC certified trainer and coach. I will not be therapizing or diagnosing anyone. And my hope is that whoever they're seeing won't be either. At the same time, if they already have an ongoing relationship with a therapist and they're comfortable with that, then by all means, I would support that relationship to continue.
It's not essential that it's a therapist, but that there's some empathic connecting support that's available as these things show up, as we process them.
So, you brought up, or I brought up drugs and alcohol. If someone is in an existing 12-step program, that's a wonderful fellowship of support. So that would be what I would see as their support during this, a place to go with like-minded people that they can talk their stories out with. I'm not here to tell someone how to physically to monitor themselves as they're coming off whatever they're coming off of, which is why there's the support. At the same time, if they choose to do that, then I would highly recommend that they get support in their community of someone who has the experience in that area to help them. What I find is this might do is actually give people humility enough to go and seek that support. So my experience with changing into more NVC consciousness is it actually gives people humility. And with that, I can raise my hand and say, I need support.
And so there's quite a lot of power in that humility, the power to reach out and say, you know what, I need help, and at this moment, please support me.
Yeah. See, this is an ongoing process, and for what I've seen impact in my own life and my own habits. My health has improved, my diet has improved, my relationships have improved. Honestly, my quality of life, applying NVC to habitual patterns has met so many needs for me. It's not a cliche, it's the truth.
And what I hear in that is it's really kind of a lived experience that you're offering back, so people can learn from what you have learned. And I get the sense of wanting to contribute quite deeply to life enrichment in the world, as we say in NVC, or
And Marshall Rosenberg considered the process of NVC to be a spiritual process. And it is from that place that social change will happen. So I believe I'm in congruence with what he wanted to see in the world. So ultimately, the work that I do here on me and then ripple outward to the other people will create a wave of social change.
Thank you for saying that, because that also brings me to share why it was so valuable for us to be able to host you on our platform doing this, because the core of our program, Living Bridges, and everything we're doing is about, really literally building a bridge between the absolute depth of our soul and what's happening in the world. And so it really contributes quite directly to our vision as well. And we're so super grateful that you were able to reach out to us for the people who live in this time zone. I know that this course was originally offered at a time that would have been 3 a.m. And now I know that this timing makes it possible for people in this time zone to access this program. And I'm just wondering if you could speak to why was that important to you, the intention behind it.
Well, I first have to thank you for the connection, because you reached out and I read about your what you're doing there with the team, and it really touched my heart. So I read that on our trainer list, and I wanted to contribute to you and to what you're doing. And thank you, COVID, for the opportunity and the time and the platform to reach across the world. NVC is, well, it's my path of life now. And the experiences with it just continue to be richer and richer. So whatever anyone takes away, whether it's just learning some nonviolent communication or an integration into their life of the consciousness, or a shifting of their own choices, any of that, I would be really happy and ecstatic about. And I feel a real kinship with you and your team. And it brings me joy. And I like to do things with fun and play and joy in them. Because life is hard enough.